Hi, this is Sandy, and I'm here to show you what I had left from the collection from Simple Stories to take note. And I had the whole collection, and then I used it for classes. We made 7 layouts and 2 mini albums. Anyway, as you can see, what I have left are bits and pieces. You know, a few 3x4 cards, different ephemera from foam stickers to cardboard pieces, stickers, and then regular type of stickers and die cuts. So I have this pile of scraps that I want to use up. Lots of times when I get towards the end of a collection, I just divide it up and put it in with my other things. But on this one, I decided instead of doing that, I was going to see how much of this I could use up. So I have gone and I found some card sketches that use smaller pieces. And these I got from Cards TV. And Mary has a YouTube channel. She also has a website, a blog. So I thought I would take I've got some other card sketches as well. And I thought I would take some of her card sketches and see how many cards I could put together out of this, what I had left in my scraps. I also thought I'd try to make a few other things. This is a background die I have that I thought would be great because I could, even the small pieces, I could make something out of it. So I will be back. I'm going to go work on seeing what I can cut up out of my scraps and put together to make cards with. And I will see you in shortly. Okay, I'm back for you. It's been a few seconds. For me, it's probably been about a week. I wanted to show you what I had left, and then I'll show you what I made. These are the scraps that I had left. There are 2 of the 3x4 cut-aparts and then a couple journaling cards. And I probably could make something with those, but I just kind of got tired of working on this, to be honest with you. These are the little bits and pieces that were left. And there's still some things in there that could be used. But like I said, I kind of got tired of working on it. So I'm going to show you what I made with trying to clean out this collection and use it up. I'm going to start with some tags. Some of them were part of the collection and some of them were, like this one is one that I made on my own cardboard and everything. These other tags were part of the collection that I cut out. I haven't decorated that one because it was so busy on the front, but I think probably just a saying or something or a couple flowers for that one. This one, I put a word phrase, focus on the good things, and the butterfly left the wings tipped up to give it some dimension. This was a camera that I took one of the sticker brads and put on it with the butterfly in it, so it looks like you were looking at a butterfly through the lens. This was another one of those tags that I just put a heart on it, the best memories. And then this was one where I took some paper, I cut out a couple hearts out of the scraps, and I cut this little moments, big memories, and put that phrase on there. So that was that tag. This was a tag where I just took different strips of paper and tore them so it gave it that interesting little edge. We had torn some strips when we were making our layouts in the collection. So they were still in my scraps, and so that gave me the idea to just go ahead and tear a few more and make a tag with it. And then this was a heart that was in the ephemera and a sticker in the moment. So I made that tag. Then I took 2 pieces and cut them to be the ATC size, 2.5 by 3.5, and then decorated them. This is a butterfly out of the collection, and this was a saying that I cut it apart. It was a strip, but I cut it apart, focused on the good. And then I didn't feel like the butterfly showed up as much as I wanted it to. So I went ahead and used some ink around the edge of it and did that around the phrase too. And then I inked the sides. Kind of the same thing on this one. I put the bird, I put one of the flowers from the ephemera, and took the phrase fun times and drew a black line around it to make it stand out a little bit. And then I inked the pages. And then this is a Rolodex card. And so I decided, hey, that'd be a great way to use up some of the paper. So that's what I did. So on this side, yeah, I put paper on there, and then the birds and the saying favorite things. And then I've also been decorating the back so that when it's in my, I've got a circular Rolodex, and when it's in there, then I also have something to look at when I put that card down. And so there again, I did use 2 pieces of paper on this. A paperclip sticker that I had, this ephemera that said fun, and this bird. It was a foam sticker. And then I used this arrow that was on there. So that was my Rolodex card I created. Here were a couple larger tags that I made because I had this. This was a cut apart card, and I fussy cut around it because I wanted just a clipboard and not the whole 3x4 size card. And then I took out of it had a really small like clip on the top that was part of what I cut out. But looking at it on the card, I had a sticker in there that was larger, and I just liked the larger one, the way it looked better. This was another strip card where I took the branding strips that you get on 12x12 paper and just laid them on there in a pattern. And so then I put a heart, it had the heart on the clipboard, but then I put a flower in the middle of the heart, and this saying, today is the best day. So that was another tag I made. This was another one where I used the branding strips and made a tag out of it. And then I just used a piece of the paper with a scallop punch. And then the heart was already in the collection. And then I put these 2 stickers, remember this, love it, to make this tag. And then I made a whole bunch of cards, and I'll show those as I go through. This one, keep it simple. We had cut 2 big hearts out for one of the layouts I made. And so what we used was actually what was a border around the heart. So we had cut a big heart, then we'd cut another heart out of the center and just use the outline on on the layout for, there were 3 papers we did that with. So I had a heart left, several hearts left. So I thought, well, that would look really cute on a card. It was a little too big for the whole thing to fit, so I did cut this edge off. And then I just used different things out of the bits and pieces that were left, this typewriter that said just a little note, and some flowers that were part of the collection, and the phrase, keep it simple. This was one where I had the black and white paper, and there was this big colorful butterfly in the ephemera pack. And there was this foam sticker that said choose to shine, and then these sticker brads that were left in the collection that I put up there. So it's a pretty simple card to make, but I like it. I'm going to save this one for a minute. This was a 3x4 cut apart card that I just put a border around it and then put it onto another piece of paper on my card front. And then I just took the word phrase, foam taped it up, just a little note. This was one where I used one of those hearts. I cut it down a little bit so it was not quite as big. And this was some other paper I had. It didn't come as part of the collection. but everything else was part of the collection. And so then it has this big title in there, Big Smiles. So I then fussy cut out these 2 cameras out of some of the paper and put 2 of the sticker brads on it. And these were some little flowers. Several of them were flowers that I had fussy cut out as part of one of the layouts, and then I didn't need them all. And so I just put the flowers on there. And then these were some of the enamel dots that were left out of the collection, so I just put those on there as well. Okay, then I'm going to show you different things I made as a result of, like this was a die I had, a background die I had, and so I was able to take it and cut out a frame, and then I cut different pieces of the collection that were left, small pieces, and just fit them inside the frame to make this cute card. And then this was a big title that was left in my leftovers of the collection, so I used that. And then I used some card sketches. Each of the card sketches I used came from Cards TV, and Mary has a channel where she uses different sketches that she's designed, and then she shows cards that she makes. And so I use this one to make the cards that are right here. And it was easy to use scraps in the background. Sometimes I didn't have very big pieces left. And then this was a journaling card that I put on there, and then it already had the stamp on it, but I took the phrase Little Things and the butterfly that was a foam sticker, and then the word Noted, and put down here on that one. This one was really simple because I used leftover paper again in the background based on the sketch, but then I just used a 3x4 card. I cut it down just a little bit so it wasn't quite so big, and used it as my focal point on the card. Same sketch again, and I just, for the center, I used a white scallop that I had and put a foam butterfly on it with a heart. And the phrase, "Oh, happy day," I just put on a piece of white scrap I had and then cut around the edge of it for my phrase on the card so that that pink would show up a little better against the background. This is another one where I used the same card sketch, used a white scallop, and then this was a phrase that was in the ephemera, "You got this," and there was this flower, and then I put a couple hearts on it. So that was that card. This one, I used the same sketch, had the 4 scraps in the background. I used a white circle with a butterfly. And then I was looking at it, and I thought, well, it'd be kind of pretty to put something on each of the sections. So I did that. I had this sticker that was a stamp and 2 stickers that were flowers. And then this was a foam sticker that said Big Smiles. So I put that on that card. So that's what I did with this sketch. It's sketch number 74 from Cards TV. And then I used this sketch, which is just a little different from the previous one. It's got a long piece on this side and then 2 separate pieces on this side. I had this scallop scrap from another collection that I had cut previously. And so I thought, well, the colors kind of went with this. So I used it just as a background for the heart, and then 3 of the sticker brads that we had for this card. And I could have made more of this one. I just didn't, I guess. Then for this card, TV Sketch 68, I made this card, and there again it had a cut apart, and I cut it down, and then I backed it on a black piece of paper that I just pulled some out of my scraps because I had some black scraps. And same with these pieces. The the pattern paper is out of the collection, and then the black is just out of my scraps that I just used to highlight the paper on their sketch. Same on this one. This is a cut apart card out of the collection that I just cut down a little bit so it wasn't quite so big, and then backed it on black cardstock that I had left. And then the same with the 3 pattern papers on this one. It says Everyday Moments. Okay, so then we're back to the one I laid aside to begin with. I've seen on different channels where they just take 1-inch scraps and use them. And so when I got down to where I didn't have a lot left, that seemed like a good plan to me. So I've made 4 cards just using 1-inch scraps. This is the first one I made. And after I made this, then I ordered a die that I saw that Mary had on her Cards TV channel that actually cuts around it, puts some stitching on it, and so then I used that background die. And it will cut out the parts if you want to, but I had already punched the 1-inch squares, so I just went ahead and glued the 1-inch squares on. But the nice part about it was on this one, it was hard to get them all even, and I didn't get them all perfectly spaced from each other. But on this one, the spacing's already done for you, so all I had to do is just glue them on. On this one, I had just added some black around each one, which made the squares stand out a little bit, and then backed it on another piece of paper out of the collection. And then just a couple stickers out of the pack. This one I haven't put any sentiment on it yet. I'll probably die cut something out and put on here. I just wanted to go ahead and get this video made. This was one where I took some 1-inch squares and did the same thing. And then on this one, I don't know if you can see, but I ran it through an embossing folder to give it kind of a quilted look. And I'm not sure how well that shows up on the camera. But in person, you can feel the texture, and you can see the texture of where this went through the embossing folder to give it a more quilted look. And then I just took some flowers, stuck those on the black squares, and then I used this phrase that was on the sticker sheet, "You are the very best." This was another one where I did that. I cut the background die out of a gray color and then put these pieces on. And then I just took a foam butterfly and 3 sticker brads to complete the front of that card. So that I got quite a pile made. You see my pile here, if I can make it all stand up. I got quite a few things out of what was the leftovers from that collection. And I still have a few pieces left, but by the time I got this made, I was feeling pretty tired of the collection and of working with it, and kind of lost my creative thought process at that point. So I will find some ways to use the rest of this, but I really have narrowed it down a lot from what was left after I finished my classes and made 7 layouts and 2 mini journals. So thank you for watching. If you've made it clear to this end, I thank you so much. See you in another video.